Here we go. True innovation. Inception. The moon or the sun wakes me up. So the whole thing's really a dream. The innovation, the inception. Jacob's dream. Sits under a tree, finds the stairway to heaven. Angels descending from that. This is the ending. The tree, the tech that's in your air, forms a tree, and then it heaves through in certain areas and encases everything in wood, bark. All right, so that's what they're referring to when Jesus Christ goes on the cross. That's his. There's everyone stuck in wood. So wood, believe it or not, this is what I just learned. It yields a void in the air. So wood is a void. So wood's void. So from a space-time standpoint, all the not nitrogen, but some of the elements pumped in through the moon recycles them. It goes back through, and what's left are the earthly particles, the earth systems, and that just becomes wood. It just forms wood. So as of right now, the moon, what it's doing is it's giving essentially free space to us. When it plugs in, it defines space. The problem is, without that system, or if it ever, farms your stuff, farms your world, then in place of it goes a tree, but in some cases that's inevitable. Now that tree is hundreds of miles in diameter. So it's a void in our system, but that void to us is life. So think about that. And that's how souls then spawn back through and life's created again. The fruits are not void. The fruits are life from, a life that's grown through a system. So you could say that the tree is the black hole. It's a void of light. The tree that forms, okay? And doing that, something comes out on the other side. That's the fruit of the tree. The fruit of the tree, those trees fruit additional earths. Look at the American flag, 50 stars, 50 fruits. And the veins of the tree, the knots of the tree, are the red and the white stripes. Those are clues given to us, and actually really every flag has clues. I just learned that yesterday. I was standing up looking at the flag on a pole, by the way, like a tree trunk, and the fruits are hanging down. So, I've said it before, there's room for 270 stars on that flag, one for every country. It's not about conquering, it's about understanding that you could yield fruits on a tree of that, that massive. It's just a matter of understanding it. I'm still learning in terms of what it means to have a void in the system. So that void of wood, think about that. So that means when there's an entity that their perception of our world, every place there's wood, it's void. There's something not there. So if you live in a wooden house, you live in a voided space. But it's defined as such. It's boundary lines, void, boundary, wood. It's a perception that's outside of the world looking in from a micro view or from a macro view. Think about it. That would be the perception of it's Earth, the sun, the moon, the star systems. The wood is void. It represents a voided system. Then through that system, our souls because our body composition decomposes, and then our souls are taken and placed into the fruits of the new worlds. Because you're stuck in that, because it just one day just puts you in wood. It's like the whole thing. It's like, and you're stuck there, and you just become nutrition for the tree, which is really poetic in a lot of ways. The way we use the trees to build our civilization, then we wind up in the trees. And it should be clear that it goes, because the earth tech is derivative in the ground anyway, it starts way down in the central core of the world. So all things from the ground, from in the ground up, are encompassed inside of that tree. And there are specific locations, 10 fingers, 10 toes. They'll figure it out. The does, the deer, the wonders of the world. There are 20 of these things that go strategically and technologically placed around the world. It's a huge system. It's a huge system. And if your world's a male, the North Pole will have one too. I think they took all the tech machines up there, so probably a male. So we got a lot of systems up there. Makes sense. But today's supposed to be the day I'm supposed to be able to sit down with people and explain to them the phenomenon and talk about where they're going to be in the world and how you put your people there and what the goal is. And the idea is there'd be a tree for just about every type of, you can group your persons in the tree. In your places, group specific people, types of people, given the future of the world, the understanding of genetic altering and these sort of things. My goal for my tree is to have representation of some, human beings from each part of the world. So when we spawn our tree, we'll have representation again in all those worlds, all those types of, everything from European to Indian to African to Russian to Pakistani, Chinese, Japanese, Australian, South American, North American, Canadian, and everybody else. You just want to have representation from everybody within that space, that that script and that DNA's nurturing that tree, so that when you spawn your fruit, those people exist again. Because literally, it takes your DNA, it takes your soul, your composition, your bones, and that's nutrition for the tree. So, that's important. But it's such a phenomenon to think that to some entity that the wood is a void in their viewpoint. The wood's so it means it's matter, right? It means it's matter. And then we build on top of that. It's almost like it's a empty, more like a tube. More like a tube, like a cord almost. And then what's in that cord goes out the other side to make the world, make earths, many earths, small fruits, large fruits. Genius, Genesis.